Hi, everybody. Welcome again to Ivy English. I'm Bruce.
I'm Angela.
And I'm Wesley.
Today we have our short dialogue for the month. This is colloquial English. This is not the sort of English you would be hearing or speaking if you're giving an important speech or if you're an important business meeting and you want to make a point. It's fun English. It's the kind of English you will hear people using at a bus stop or walking down the street with each other or passing time window shopping and so on. The title of our very short dialogue here is Draw a Blank.
好，所以这是我们这个标题，好 ，Draw a blank。那中文呢，它的意思就是脑中一片空白。那这里这个 draw 它是表示抽签或者抽奖的意思。那 blank 通常是空白的意思。那 draw a blank 意思就是抽到一个空白签。那英国古时候它的乐透呢，它是用抽签的方式来进行。那抽到空白签或者空白的彩券，那就表示没有中奖。那后来呢，慢慢的 draw a blank 就引申成为希望落空，或者是找不到某个东西，或者想不起某件事情，脑中一片空白这样的一个意思。例如说找不到东西，就是 you can't find something。那想不起什么事情，脑中一片空白，就是 you fail to remember something。那这里有两个例句，那我们请这个 Bruce 老师看帮我们念一下第一个例句。
I've asked my friends if they had seen my glasses, but they all have drawn a blank.
好，所以就是我问我的同学有没有看到我的眼镜啊，但是他们呢全部脑中一片空白。那另外还有一个例句
Marvin drew a blank on the name of an old neighbor that he ran into at the mall.
好，所以这个地方 drew a blank 就是 fail to remember 想不起来。那各位可以注意它是加了一个 on， drew a blank on the name of someone 就是他想不起来谁的名字。那这个想不起来谁的名字呢，是一个 old neighbor 一个老邻居。那这老邻居什么样 that he ran into at the mall 他是在这个购物中心所碰到的一个老邻居。所以这个 draw a blank 有时候主词也可以是 I 例如你可以说 I tried to remember her name but I could only draw a blank。
You know what's going on here? The draw is not drawing like huatu. Drawing is like pulling a slip of paper out of the bag. And so you're rustling around in the bag of your memory trying to draw out the right slip of paper that has the right information, but instead you draw a blank one.
这个很好哈，帮大家记忆。这个我们刚刚讲 draw 是抽奖的意思嘛。那刚刚这个 Angela 老师讲说，好像说这个你要想起一件事情，那你到脑袋里面呢就到处抽，好看能不能抽出什么东西来啊，然后记起这件事情。结果抽了半天，抽出来一张是空白的，好，所以换句话说，你就没有想起来什么东西。所以像我们刚刚讲说这个 draw a blank， 它其实前面常常用一个自己找不到或者自己想不起来，你就可以用 I。像我们刚刚讲说。I could only draw a blank 或者是你说well, I often recognize a face, but draw a blank when it comes to the name 这个是我常常就是脸我认得 I often recognize a face 但是呢 draw a blank when it comes to the name
Lots of people are like that, really.
对，想讲到名字就哇想不起来脑中一片空白
The problem is when you start forgetting faces too, then you're really in trouble.
Oops.
Yeah.
Yeah. 好 Anyway, 所以 draw a blank 脑中一片空白。那我们接下来可以看这个答案了。
Right, we have Rachel and David.
So I'll be Rachel and you can be David.
Okie doke.
How did you do on the test?
Horrible. As soon as the paper was in front of me, I drew a blank. I really blew it.
Don't let it get you down too much.
Yeah, but I really need to pull up my GPA.
Maybe you can do some extra credit?
Extra credit won't help much at this point. I need a miracle. Maybe I'll call a priest.
Yeah, 所以这个地方呢，这个很生动的一段对话。Yeah, 那我们可以看一开始看这个 Rachel 说了什么呢？
She said, how did you do on the test? Notice this is in past tense because the test thing already happened. If I say, how do you do, I'm saying, in general, how are you? Which is why it's used as a greeting. But she said, how did you do? How did it go?
好，所以注意这个是过去式，因为考试已经考过了，好，所以 考得好不好那个已经是过去的事情，至少在考试当时考得好不好，那是过去的事情了。所以它是 How did you do？ 然后注意那个介系词 on the test。那其实我建议各位，你就把这整个句子的声音背起来。How did you do on the test？ 就是你考试考得怎么样。那 the test 当然是一个特定的 test， 就是刚刚过去的这个 test。考得怎么样啊？英文就是这样讲 How did you do on the test？所以我以前开玩笑哈 Did you finish the test or did the test finish you？ 是你这个考试考完了，还是你被考试终结了呢？
We're finished. I have no more relationship with this test.
We're finished 就是我已经跟他已经结束了，这个考完就跟他没有关系了。
Okay, David answers horrible, terrible, awful.
Yeah, 这个 horrible 呢，当然它第一个意思就是dreadful, extremely unpleasant， 就是很恐怖，或者一个比较难的是 deplorable 这个字比较难一点，各位如果想记把它记起来 D-E-P-L-O-R-A-B-L-E。Yeah.
Can I point out that this
Sure.
really should be an adverb to be actually correct grammar?
Oh, that's true.
Because you did horribly, you did deplorably.
True.
But it's very normal in native speaker English to just answer horrible, because horrible and horribly, horrible sounds better.
Yeah,
And
这个地方
it's shorter.
And it's shorter.
这个地方其实应该是副词，原来应该是要用副词，因为前面是问 How did you do？ 这个就是你 do 它修饰的是个动词，所以应该是要用副词来回答。但是呢，这个 native speakers 在这个地方都是用 horrible 因为 horrible 比较简单。
I think they were also thinking it was horrible. They're thinking the situation was horrible.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. 它也可能是因为 it was horrible， 所以这就用 horrible。那我们刚刚讲 horrible 第一个意思是很恐怖的，那在这里这个 horrible 的意思呢，它是 used to describe something very unpleasant 或者 disgusting 或者 depressing。所以例如说别人 How was the food? Horrible 那就
and that's the correct grammar for it. Because we're saying how was it? It was horrible.
那这样就对，那就是哎呀这个食物怎么 horrible 就 disgusting 这太难吃了。那在这个地方这个 horrible 比较接近 depressing， 太惨了，考得太惨了。
As soon as the paper was in front of me, I drew a blank. As soon as the paper was as soon as the teacher or another student put the paper with questions on it that you have to answer or write about and so on is called a test paper. He shortens that just to paper. As soon as the test paper was in front of me, I drew a blank. I looked at it and I couldn't think of anything to write on the paper.
My mind went blank.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, my mind went blank. 就是我脑袋一片空白，另外一个说法。那这个地方我觉得很有趣，好像这个 test paper 放在他的面前呢，感觉起来好像是个 cue。就 maybe he remembered everything beforehand, but as soon as the paper was in front of him, that's a cue. I should forget everything. 所以呢，好像这个考卷呢一放到我面前，这个 the paper 在这里就是指的 test paper， 就是考卷。考卷的完整的说法是 the test paper was in front of me， 放在我面前的时候呢，我就怎么样，脑中一片空白，所以蛮有趣的。这个完蛋了，考试考的一片空白。
I really blew it. Now there is colloquial English for you, slang really. I really blew it means I made a mess of something.
I messed up.
I messed up, M-E-S-S, to make a mess out of something. That's the noun. Or mess can be a verb. I messed up, M-E-S-S-E-D.
What it really means is I failed.
It was a disaster.
Yeah, 简单的说 I really blew it 相当于中文里面讲的考砸了，就砸了，考砸了。所以这个语气啊，意思啊都差不多。所以完蛋了啦，考砸了，所以没有考好。
And Rachel's trying to be sympathetic, so she's like not denying his reality. She's not like, yeah, you must have been fine. She was like, well, I'm sure that's true, but don't let it get you down too much. Don't let it bring you down. Don't let it depress you or make you feel sad. Or like, don't do it too far. Like, of course you're going to feel slightly sad about this at minimum, but don't go too far with it.
Yeah, get one down 这个片语呢，它的意思就是 to cause someone to feel depressed， 让某人觉得很沮丧，或者 dejected 也是沮丧 D-E-J-E-C-T-E-D to cause someone to feel dejected， 或者是 to cause someone to feel discouraged， 那也是 get you down， 让你觉得很没有勇气，就上气了。 或者你可以说 to cause someone to feel saddened， 就是让他觉得很难过哈。S-A-D-D-E-N-E-D。Well, you know where I learned this phrase？ 这个片语啊，我是在那个 Carpenters 有一首歌里面。对，他这个好像是 Hanging around, nothing to do but frown.Rainy days and Mondays always get me down. 对，他唱的时候这个地方唱得非常慢，所以我记得好清楚哈。所以 rainy days and Mondays 下雨的时候呢，还有礼拜一 Monday blues always get me down， 总是会让我觉得很沮丧很难过。所以其实这个歌唱学英文啊，你不管歌喉怎么样，你的多听那能够唱的话，自己唱的高兴就好。像我刚刚我唱的蛮高兴的了，你们听的怎么样我不知道了。但是呢，这一句话我是这样记起来，所以这个印象非常的深。Rainy days and Mondays always get me down。这首歌的名字就是 Rainy days and Mondays。
So then David said what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll try not to,
but I really need to pull up my GPA. Yeah, I shouldn't let it get me down too much. Yeah, you're right. I'm going to feel lousy for a while, but this is not the end of my life. Still, I have a reason to feel at least a little down. I need to pull up. Here, pull up means to increase my GPA.These are three letters that terrify most students.
I was immune to that. I didn't care.
Yeah, 这个 immune 就是免疫 I-M-M-U-N-E. I was immune to that. 就是那个 didn't bother me.
It didn't bother me because I got it pretty easily. Like, I didn't have to worry about it happening because I felt high school in the United States, I would not have done well in Taiwan. But high school in the United States is pretty easy.Oh,
okay.
Okay, yeah. I should finish. Sure. GPA, grade. Did you get an A, a B? Did you get an 85 or a 65? What was your grade? What points did you get on the test? Grade, point, as I just said, how many points? Average. How do you usually score on your tests? What is your average test score?So
it turns out that if you get like 4.0s in your first 2 years of 4 years of high school, then the subsequent numbers don't really affect it that much because there's more and more being added. Where you start off, it doesn't get moved too much by what numbers you add in unless you got like a 0 after that. So if you did badly in your first 2 years, it's very hard to pull your GPA up. But if you start off good, you can more or less maintain it.Well,
that's the power of average.
Yeah, so I think that averages, in general, it's just, I don't know, it just means that you did well the first 2 years and then after you did okay. You know what I mean? It's not really a fair measure, I think, of what a student can do. I don't know what's a more fair measure, but I never thought that the GPA was very fair. It didn't really correlate with how hard everybody worked.
Yeah, 这个我想跟台湾一样，就是成绩不见得能够真的显示出一个学生他的程度，还有他真的做了多少努力，但是这个东西没办法，这个总是要有一点参考的一个标准。那刚刚这个 Angela 讲说呢，其实在美国你如果高中前2年的 GPA 不错的话呢，除非你第3年这个一塌糊涂，不然的话通常就有比较好的机会可以得到一个不错的一个 GPA。那我们再看一下这两句话跟上一句话，其实上一句话我刚刚忘了讲一个，就是那个 too much 蛮重要的，因为当你说 don't let it get you down too much， 就是I recognize 我知道你觉得不舒服，那这个地方如果人家已经考得很差，你跟他说 don't let it get you down， 这个好像太唱高调了，你不要难过，人家明明就已经难过了嘛，所以你就不要怎么样太难过，就跟中文讲的一样，你不要太难过，不要 let it get you down too much， 所以一点点难过那是很健康的。然后呢，接下来他说是啊，我知道不要太难过，但是呢我真的需要，那各位可以把这个学起来 pull up my GPA。Pull up 就是拉高，我觉得这动作很好，就是不是说你要高就可以高的，你要用拉的啊，you have to pull it.
Yeah, you have to get above it and pull it up.
Yeah, 你要用力哈，那才能够把它拉高一点啊，所以我真的需要拉高我学业平均成绩。
And so she makes a concrete suggestion. She says, maybe you can do some extra credit.Extra credit is like extra work that the teacher grades you on, and then that grade also gets added into your GPA, and then it pulls it up. Because anything that's higher than the average will pull it higher. That's why we talk about pulling it up.
好，所以这个地方呢，各位可以学起来这个 do some extra credit， 英文感觉起来是这样，但是其实就是中文里面讲的，你可以怎么样想办法加分，你可以想办法做点事情加分，叫做 do some extra credit。那这里呢要稍微注意一下，就 credit 这个字啊，它可以指学分，跟学校有关的。例如说这个this course is worth 3 credits 啊，这个课有3个学分，但是要注意，当它指学分的时候，它是可以数的 ，1 credit, 2 credits, 3 credits， 或者例如你说so far I've earned 30 credits 啊，目前为止呢，我已经修了30个学分了。所以当它指学分的时候 ，credit 是可以数的。那各位看到这里，他说 to do some extra credit， 他没有加 s， 表示它是不可数的。所以这个时候他不是说我要多修一点学分，不是那个意思。他的意思呢，这个 credit 在这里呢，它就是指像刚刚 Angel 老师讲的，就是通常它就是 something 或者 someone that brings credit to you， 或者是 something or someone that does you credit， 就是 make people think of you in a better way 或者 in a favorable way 所以那个叫做 credit， 就是一些事情你做了之后呢，会让别人对你印象好一点，所以就是我们刚刚讲的 do some extra credit， 就例如就是你可以做一些事情可以去加分的例如像考试的时候，有的时候我们最后一题你会说 answer this last question correctly for extra credit， 那个就是说你前面可能考得很差了，那最后这一题呢你回答一下可以加分，这个通常是老师这个非常的 kind 怕学生当掉了你前面考得一塌糊涂呢，最后这一题20分你写点东西我看看状况怎么样给你加分，所以 extra credit 在这里就是所谓的加分的意思。所以这个 Rachel 在这里提出的建议就是那也许你可以做点事情看能不能怎么样这个加点分。
But David says extra credit won't help much at this point, and we were talking about maybe you have 2 years out of your 3 years of high school finished, and you're not very happy with your GPA. With just 1 year, it's very hard to pull up the so-so first 2 years. And even if he did very well, it wouldn't help much. It wouldn't help a lot at this point because my GPA is so low, or it's much lower than I want it to be. Even if I work twice as hard in my last year, it will pull it up, but not a lot.
Yeah.
It won't help much.
好，所以呢，这个 David 就说呢 ，extra credit， 好，就是我要做点加分的事情呢 ，won't help much， 大概没什么帮助。我觉得这个 much 在这里也很重要，因为如果说，因为 Rachel 是好意说也许你 maybe you can do some extra credit， 然后呢，如果 David 说 extra credit won't help， 那就感觉起来就是你这个笨蛋出这个主意没用了但是他说 won't help much， 就是会有帮助啦，但是不是帮助很大。就跟中文讲的没什么帮助，就是类似的意思。所以这样子呢，如果说现在做一点 extra credit 的话，大概没有什么太大帮助。那 at this point， 类似我们中文讲的到了这个节骨点，好，已经到了现在了。at this point， 你再做 extra credit， 再有 extra credit， 大概没有什么帮助。那这个 at this point 通常这个是比较另外有的时候他们 native speaker 讲话常常就习惯会讲 at this point in time， 那 in time 其实不用讲了，但是 at this point in time。那如果难一点的字呢，你可以说 at this juncture， Juncture， at this juncture 那其实也就是这个 at this moment 的意思，或者 right now 的意思。那各位注意，就是 at this point 它常常感觉起来就是它告诉你说 maybe not so in the past， 而且 maybe not so in the future， 但是呢 this is the case now， 就是 at this point。所以例如你可以说 well at this point we are the best ranked basketball team in the country， 就是此时此刻我们是 the best ranked basketball team 我们是国内排名最高的这个篮球队，但是 at this point， 所以也许呢之前不是，而且呢可能马上就会被他打败所以也许未来不见得是，但是现在是。所以各位注意，在 at this point 常常有这个意思。那不过在这个我们这里看到这个 at this point， 它比较接近我们中文讲的到了这个节骨点，在这个时候，像刚刚 Bruce 老师讲的，他也许前2年都已经乱七八糟了，或者已经很惨了，或者是他这一科到现在已经几乎没救了，那现在再做点加分的，其实没有什么太大的帮助。
Okay, extra credit won't help much. Yes, it can help a little, But at this point, the situation now is that, 完蛋, what am I going to do? I need a miracle. I don't need one good year or one more good test or something. I need a miracle. I need God's help, something totally unexpected to change my life. And normally this is not possible, and we would call that kind of change, if it did happen, a miracle.
Yeah, well, somehow I feel that I hear this a lot. I need a miracle.
Yeah.
但很多人常常日常生活里面常常觉得，哎，没办法哈，这个真的
没救
了哈，只能靠看什么奇迹出现。
I need divine intervention.
那 divine intervention 哈 ，divine 就是跟神有关的哈 ，D-I-V-I-N-E， 然后呢 intervention 就是介入 ，I-N-T-E-R-V-E-N-T-I-O-N， 好 ，I need divine intervention， 这各位把它背起来 ，yeah.
Although there's a very hilarious joke about how after Jesus was killed, there was 3 people thrown in jail. There was Peter, Paul, and Mary. And Peter was like, please God help us, please God help us. And he just stood there and prayed over and over again. And Paul just like sat in the corner freaking out and did nothing. And Mary was like, please God help us, and also took a teaspoon and scraped the wall. So every time she said, please God help us, she scraped the wall. And then, of course, when Mary broke through the wall with her hard work, Peter goes, God be praised. And Mary was like, yes, God be praised.
Yeah.
There's a lot of lessons in this joke, but the biggest one is that God helps those who helps themselves.
Exactly. 所以呢，这个刚刚 Angel 讲这个故事哈，这个 Peter, Paul 跟 Mary， 这个就在耶稣他被上了十字架之后，他们被关起来。然后呢 Peter 就一直祷告啊，上帝啊，救我出去啊。那 Paul 什么都没做，在那里觉得很难过。那 Mary 呢也是祷告，但同时他每次祷告，每次就拿汤匙挖那个墙角。那结果呢，最后当然 Mary 成功了。那成功的时候呢 Peter 就感谢上帝，但是其实应该要感谢的是 Mary， 她一方面感谢上帝，一方面自己也努力。所以最好的这个注解就是天助自助者。我觉得这句话其实真的是这样子哈，你自己要想尽办法，上帝才会救你。你如果自己在那边说什么都不做的话，那可能不管是上帝还是神还是菩萨就不会救你，你自己还是要想尽办法。
So he says, maybe I'll call a priest, which is the perfect way to end this discussion.
Yeah. 所以也许呢，我打个电话给牧师吧，因为呢，我自己一个人祷告大概不够力，牧师一起来祷告才能有 miracle 的降临。
Yeah, right. Okay, so that's drawing a blank. I'm sure it happens to everybody at some time or another, and I hate to tell you what it's going to be like, but the older you get, the more blanks you're going to draw. But that's normal because our brains are so full of information and knowledge and power and intellect that, of course, you're going to lose a few things.
Or full of something, anyways.
Okay, that's the end of today's lesson, and we 3 will be back next month again for you. Until then,
bye-bye.